if a potter is forming a piece of clay into a pot, they're not like reviewing suggested pots. There's just a loop going where like the clay is becoming something and like they're reacting live and there's a loop going. And I almost wonder if could we get to the point where crafting software feels that way, where there's some representation you're working with that feels like you can just directly touch it. And it's not a language interaction. You more see it coming together and you're like, yeah, you're crafting it into a pot. Yeah. And I think that's very, very obviously possible for shallow UI design. So like I should be able to move UI elements around. I shouldn't be telling a model like, please move that box 3 pixels. That's ridiculous. And that hopefully will get solved. Although our civilization has taken backwards progress on that since the 90s. So we'll see. The harder question is like, what is that for logic? I don't know.
This is like the thing I want most. How do we turn software into clay? I don't know. Yeah, what do you think about that for logic? This is kind of like gets at Brett Victor dynamic land, like how do we tactily feel what's happening in software?
Since you mentioned Brett, I think Brett has this great essay, The Up and Down the Ladder of Abstraction, which I think has a lot to say about how do you see this map of a very complex space? What's my map of my 100 to-do apps, and how do I find the one that I want? Going up into very abstract line and then jumping down into like demoing concrete ones. Another inspiration that I think about a lot is Michael Nielsen's work on it's like AIA. I forget. I guess it's like artificial intelligence augmentation, I think is, where, I think he and Sean Carter had this piece of like,
this like slider that you would
these
drag.
Sliders, which are changing very deep conceptual attributes of a font, a typeface, that an AI, I think, learned probably like with an unsupervised learning algorithm or something. Yeah. And basically like, I think it was pretty simple. Like you were moving in latent space of fonts with a slider, and that does make me wonder, what is the equivalent of that for code? Like, could you do like some of the anthropic steering vector stuff on code gen, and then like you choose the steering vector, and if you make the app like, is there like a complicated slider that you can just drag and the app gets more complicated or simpler, or I don't know.
It makes me think about like, okay, if you combine the slider idea and the abstraction ladder idea, like you kind of like drag the slider up and down the levels of abstraction. You can like modify at each level of abstraction, and then like the full abstraction ladder is regenerated for the new app, and now you can like move down or up again. And like, so you're like moving in whatever, like at whatever level you want. So like, okay, I want to actually like totally change this to-do app in order to be this way, versus like, I want to change this like tiny function in this to-do app to like do this slightly different thing instead.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I think this is a very ambitious vision we're sketching out here.
I know.
But yeah, I think this is a very different path than the one that the industry is on right now, which is mostly just a bunch of natural language in the groove chats.